Hi, I'm Dr. Jerry Jampolsky.
And I'm Dr. Diane Cirincione-Jampolsky with another Attitudinal Healing Moment coming to you from Attitudinal Healing International.
Today we're talking about forgiving the unforgivable. What causes most of us the most problems is that we believe that some things are unforgivable. And when we've been hurt, there's tragedy in our home caused by someone else, it's very easy to believe that we protect ourselves by holding on to the anger, holding on to the resentment, and forgiveness is just not a word that comes into our consciousness.
In the late 1990s, we were asked to go by Dr. Landrum Bowling with the Harvard Conflict Resolution Project to go to Bihać, Bosnia, with a delegation from Harvard to work with the different religious factions just at the end of the war in the former Yugoslavia. There are a number of religious leaders that were asked to come because it seemed that the governments weren't succeeding at having an environment that was conducive to people repatriating. So many were forced to leave their homes during the course of the war, and they had to now, or they were returning, and there were so many conflicts with neighbors, etc. So we were asked to do the middle part of the conference, the middle days, and it was on forgiveness. So we had the Catholic priests, we had the imams, we had the Serbian Orthodox priests and bishops together, and they actually, if you remember, Jerry, they actually didn't even want to come in the same room. They had so much pain and so many grievances
Well,
to even come in the room to talk about forgiveness.
At the very beginning, they wanted to, but then as the closer they got to the event, then they got scared.
Right. So we didn't know if it would even happen, right? But we did get them in a room, and maybe you can share, Jerry, about what our thoughts were about it. We prayed for guidance as to what to do.
Our guidance was to ask them if they could be willing to listen to each other's story about what happened back there then, and see if there might be some benefit in letting go of the past and their grievances. And as we started, there was totally silence, absolutely silence. And we were very comfortable by being silent, and must have been around 5 or 7 minutes, probably. We thought it was 10 minutes, but it
seemed like an eternity, actually.
And then one person began to talk and broke the ice.
Yeah, we asked people just to go inside and who wanted to share, and a young man stood up. We'll never forget this experience. He was about in his early 30s. And he stood up and he shared this story. He was from Bosnia, and he came home and found that his family home, his parents, his grandparents, and his 4 siblings were inside the house. They had been locked in the house had been sealed, and it was on fire when he got home, and he couldn't do anything about it. They were all dying right in front of his eyes. And he said he remembers that moment where he closed his eyes and he said, I am either going to spend the rest of my life finding every one of these people that did this and kill every one of them, or I'm going to have to find some way to forgive. This young man was a priest. He had found that peace in his mind. It was so powerful. And then the story started to unfold.
And one person after another, and you could just feel the sense of joining and compassion that each person had. And following our workshop, they decided that they would go visit the various places which their places of worship had just been taken away and bombed.
All of them were destroyed from all the faiths.
And they began to meet with each other regularly after we left. And it was an amazing experience for us to see how when one has a willingness to see things differently, that the painful past begins to disappear, and that sense of longing that we all have of experiencing a sense of peace and oneness with each other began to take place.
So the question is there anything that really isn't forgivable? Probably not.
My belief system is everything's forgivable.
Mine too.